All right, good afternoon, and welcome back to Keeping You Covered. This time we're going to talk about the winter weather and specifically auto insurance. So, a lot of times we think about snow and how it affects your home, your roof, freezing pipes, things like that. Maybe you don't think so much about your car and how it affects your car, but you may if you're driving around. So there is a big difference between an accident being your fault or being not at fault, meaning another driver is at fault. Fault is a kind of a legal definition that basically says who gets to pay who. So, for instance, if someone hits you, they are legally at fault, and therefore their insurance is required to fix all the problems that result from the accident, including paying your deductible. So a lot of people have a deductible of say $1,000. So the difference between being at fault and being not at fault is really two things. One is your $1,000 deductible or whatever your deductible happens to be. Obviously, if it's less, it's less of a big deal. But what is a big deal is that you will get charged each year for 3 years on your insurance if you are found at fault in an accident. So when it snows, it's even more important to make sure that you are not at fault. So what do you do? Well, the biggest thing is maintaining a safe speed. You may not know that the posted speed limit really drops to something lower if the conditions warrant. You can actually be pulled over for going the speed limit, say for instance in a blizzard, when you can't see and it kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon, or you're going into warp speed and the snow is coming at you and it's really hard to see. Going 65 miles an hour on a freeway in a blizzard, it's probably going to get you a ticket. And if you get into an accident, we can pretty much assure you that you are at fault. So a lot of times you'll see people driving 15, 20 miles an hour in a 65-mile-an-hour zone in order to avoid an accident. This is safe and prudent, and it will help to make sure that you are not the party that's at fault. Especially when a snowstorm starts, there's always somebody that just completely disregards what should be considered a safe speed, and they continue to drive the speed limit. Well, let me just tell you, if there's an inch of snow on the ground, the speed limit is probably not the safe speed to be driving. So make sure that if you're driving around in the snow, make sure that you're not the person who's driving the unsafe speed. And the second thing that you want to do is make sure that you stay away from these people. We had an incident in January in which it was snowing on the freeway here in North Carolina on the way to Jim Cramer's Mad Money, and somebody was going way too fast and started doing 360s in the middle of the freeway. We were already going 20 miles an hour under the posted speed limit, and we moved the car as far to the left as possible to try and escape this car that started spinning out of control in front of us. Well, without really knowing which way the car would go, we went left hoping that that was the best thing to do, but the car ended up spinning left and slamming us into the center divider on the freeway. There was a long, drawn out discussion about whose fault it was because it was snowing, but because in a way we hit the car, but in reality, the other car was clearly the one out of control and hit us. So uh, a person was nice enough to stop and to give a statement to the highway patrol, and then several diagrams were drawn up. And the reality of it, it ended up the other driver, of course, was not at fault because they were driving the posted speed limit, which was really unsafe for the conditions, and we were doing our best to stay away from other drivers at a reasonable or safe speed limit. And then that was the difference between us paying out $1,000 and the other driver having to pay. So the other insurance company did pick up the tab on all the damage, and it was quite extensive because we got hit from both the car that hit us and the center divider on the other side. So really, when it's snowing out there, it looks like the snow was stopped here for a little bit. We're in the Piedmont in North Carolina, but you want to make sure that keep a safe following distance. Try to anticipate. And if you see someone barreling down the freeway, try to get out of their way and as best you can anticipate what might go wrong as they come speeding past you, which direction that they would go in. Try to make sure that everything, all the facts are on your side in terms of getting hit. Now, if you don't need to travel, Really don't. There's no need to. You can probably walk to a supermarket so that, in the event that supplies or things are needed. Really, I think that this snowstorm, they had talked about it last night that it's coming. Don't wait until the snow falls to go to the shopping market if are going to need bread and water or whatever supplies you're going to make sure that you have that stuff on hand so that you don't have to drive in adverse conditions. Try to walk where you can. And again, make sure to stay out for people traveling the posted speed limit when conditions warrant that you actually drive slower to be at a safe speed. Hope this is helpful information in terms of making sure that your insurance keeps you covered. That's the whole goal here on Keep You Covered, is to make sure to talk about ways that you can make sure that your insurance policy that you pay for every month or every year keeps you covered. Again, if you have questions, log on to magnumopusfinancial.com. There's a contact us section, and you can leave comments or questions about this segment or any other segment that you see that we've produced at Magnum Opus Financial, and we will make sure that that gets sent to the correct person and that we get you a response back. Thanks so much for tuning in, and have a great holiday season.